Well, it's time to address a problem that just kind of came up while I was trying to think about putting the tank in. And that one was this. So the shocks, right? On a JK, normally you have your shocks associated the right way if it's a single tube or if you have an outboard reservoir. But when you use a Falcon shock, I have the adjustable ones over there, but they have this extra tube. And so from Terraflex, they have you mount it like this with this part down. Well, the mount's already so low, this thing just gets beat to snot. So you do what's called a flip. And now that's down, which is a lot more narrow so it isn't hitting. And then this is pointed up into this, right? So you're mounted like this, which is great. You have plenty of room. Everything is gravy. But when you put in the tank, this knuckle right here will get in the way. So you have to take it from this and flip it like this if you want to use these, is what I'm thinking. So in doing that though, sure, I can go straight up and down, but as soon as I need to go ahead and put it in here, I'm running into hitting that metal bracket. So I'm going to have to do some cutting and trimming on this to see if we can go ahead and get this to work. So I'm going to put this up here and mark out where this will be hitting and see if I can cut it out enough that these get clearance without compromising the integrity of the actual weld-in bracket itself. So wish me luck. We're all marked out as far as to what I'm planning on cutting out and getting out of there. We'll see how well this goes. Got this cut out and I was able to go ahead and put in the shock and see if we have room. And I think we have enough room, barely, on the frame side at this angle. But as soon as I raise it up, because I'm going to take this shock mount and I'm putting it up here so that the lower end's like right here to give me all this clearance on this side. I think we're going to hit. So what I think I have to do is I have to drop this bracket down some. Now I have some brackets, I think from Terraflex, that I might try. We'll see. And then if not, I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 pieces of 1/4 inch steel here to drop this down a 1/2 inch and give me what I need. So it'll be like a big washer, which will actually strengthen up the middle of this as well. So let's go ahead and give this a look. Well, everything looks good. If I would have gone a little bit lower because of the angle, it would have interfered with the frame. So I just did a 1/2 inch, so 2 of these 1/4 inch thick pieces of steel with this bolted through on that. But I'm getting a little bit of contact here, so what I'll probably do is just cut this off and remove it from the frame, so that way we're just against the frame right here. Or at least I'll go ahead and blast this down some with the flap disc and get it quite a bit lower. Here's where we're at. That is too tight. Like paper goes through there. And that's with it mounted lower. As soon as I raise that mounting point up by a few inches, it's gonna get a little saucy. So I'm gonna have to see about moving those 2 bolt holes at least a 1/2 inch further back. I might be able to rotate the one that's on the right hand side there and then just rotate the shock. All right, crisis averted. Look at all that space I have now. So it is with me rotating this. So keeping that left one the same, and then I'm going to move this inside one, and I rotated it enough so that way I'm going to cut out this last chunk right here of the extra that's on this mount, and then that'll give me room for the knob to move it around, although I probably never will, but I want to make sure I have that clearance. And then that gives me plenty of room over here for moving it up, flexing shenanigans, all that stuff. I got some flanged 10.9s spot welded around it just to make sure it wasn't going to go ahead and come loose. These were only getting torqued down to what I'm doing is 37 foot-pounds, so little primer there, and then obviously I cut out a little bit more right there to the end, right there. So now when these are turned, we got room for the knob, but we'll go ahead and get the black on that. And as soon as we're good there, I think we should be totally good. I started on my shocks mounting and for my rear sway bar mount. So this is what it looks like. Well, obviously I cut the beginning of that off, but how low it hangs. So it hangs lower than your bracket, and the bottom of them, man, just get pounded. They're all deformed and stuff. And so what I'm doing is I'm moving them up about the height of one of these end link brackets. So one of these, I'm gonna move it, and I marked all my lines. So this was the top of this before when it sat in there. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do it like that. So that's at the top. I have a little bit of bridging gap that I have to do up there, but not a big deal. And then I'm moving this bracket from where it was, which was way down here, hanging low. And I'm gonna go ahead and move it to where the bottom of the other bracket is, because you see the bottom and the top match here. So this is gonna end up right here, which is that much more clearance that we have than before, because this bracket hangs lower, so it used to be down here. So we're gaining like 3 inches of clearance. We are fully welded up. Got both sides, got underneath. So these are set, and we gained quite a bit of clearance. I don't know where the spare is. A few inches. And so now my last step is to cut off the bolt holes and kind of box that in, because I want to try to make that more of a skid than an abrupt stop to hit something on. So we'll have to see what I make of it. So here's where we're at. I got this shaved down, got the ears off on this thing, and cut the bolt holes. Now I could leave this like this, and likely a rock will hit here and then kind of come here, but I don't like this flat spot for it to catch on something and go. So I decided that I'm going to go ahead and make something that'll attach to this, strengthen of this whole unit, but also give a rock room to slide over. And so all I did was take myself some these are good, by the way, little cream soda Dr. Pepper. But anyways, took this box, cut it up, marked it driver, and then just cut myself a little template in here, so that way I could go ahead and make something, and then I'll weld it in, and then hopefully that'll give us more of a skidding surface to slide over rocks, right? I took this, marked it on some 1/4 inch, did the lines, out comes this, right? So all I did was do this, and then I marked it out which one's forward, and D for driver, and A, B, so they know which way to go. So essentially we're here. These are just the rough cuts that I did over with the porta band, but that I can go ahead and put together and set up in here. And then I'm obviously going to have to do some kind of like sanding with a flap disc or something like that to go ahead and get it to fit fully in there and make some adjustments. But here, this is the overall plan. Get this, I'll weld these into place where they're supposed to be, and then I'll set it up in here, and then I'll weld this entire setup in here, so that way we then have a skid, which is going to be something like this. It looks like that's going to go in perfect just like that. are the finished results. Not too bad on this side. On the outside, there's a bit of more of a gap that I'm going to spray through. It's pretty ugly over there. Not too bad on the inside here. This outside was terrible. Awful. I didn't cut it right. But either way, they're going to serve their purpose. I'm going to go ahead and spray this down with some primer and get it all painted up. But that's the end of adjusting these and moving the mounts on that. I'll go ahead and get the shocks put in as soon as everything's painted up. But there you go. There's the drama. Thanks for watching, guys.